What is going on? Armand Owens with the Unsung Leader back at you with another daily leadership nugget, life nugget, whatever you want to call it. This is part two of how to deal with horrible bosses, horrible leaders, whatever you want to call them. Yesterday, I talked about making sure you check yourself, check your biases, check your perspective, and make sure that you're not projecting your own insecurities on the people that lead you and why this relationship is you're going through issues. Hey, here's the second step after you check yourself. Challenge yourself to put yourself in their perspective. Challenge yourself to put yourself in their shoes. Tell you a perfect example why. So when I was a young chief, I reported to my first submarine as a chief, and my chief of the boat was somebody that I knew I had a previous relationship with. So I had some expectations there on who I thought this person was. Mind you, I had never interacted with this person in this capacity of leadership. That's a big point. That's a big point here. But we butted head almost immediately because I thought that I knew how he should be doing his job. I thought that I had the answers. How he, some of the decisions that he made, some of the ways that he came across, and just his interaction with me and with the entire Chiefs quarters, I thought was completely detrimental to all things that good leadership should be founded in. And never once during those times that I had issues with him did I consider the purpose of his job. Never once did I take myself out of myself, get out of my feelings, and look at how he had to generate his decisions, how he had to come up with the things that he needed us to do. He was directly responsible, to the CEO. He had no obligation, to us, and I didn't understand what a next level leader, at that realm was responsible for. So I never took the time until I became a CMC, until I had, my own boat, that I really started to understand why he had to make some of the decisions that he was making, why he had to do some of the things that he was doing. And, if I had just for even if I just asked the question, right? Remove myself from the picture, see how he had to make decisions, see what pressure he was under, see what the CEO was directing him, I would have really got an understanding of why. Once again, going back to the first point I made last, the last daily leadership post, was understanding intention. I only judged him via his actions. I never once took the time, to understand his intentions, right? I believe that once we remove our feelings out of the picture, get all of our emotions out, right, and start to think rationally and put ourselves into the perspective, into the shoes of the leader, we will get a completely different understanding of why. We will get the background information. So challenge yourself. Challenge yourself to try to see things from that leader's perspective, right? And like I said, make sure that you're not leading with your own biases, with your own insecurities, and don't immediately assume that somebody's trying to be malicious against you, right? Maybe, just maybe, you don't understand the next level. Maybe you're in the micro of understanding and they're in the macro of understanding, and you just kind of be brought to the next level to understand what's actually happening. So try to put yourself in a position of the other person before drawing conclusions about this person and them not liking you, or them having a vendetta out against you, or whatever the case may be, right? Put yourself in the position of somebody else, of the leader, and see what happens. Come with it, part 3 tomorrow, and this will give you some tomorrow, just to give you a kind of a glimpse, how to influence up the chain of command, how to influence up the leadership dynamic in a way that gets the leader that you may have some issues with on your team. I'll be giving you some insight on how to do that tomorrow. Peace.